on this box so that Spreaker gets it. Hey, if you got this part of the video, you've got the live unedited edition. Home Gadget Geeks, Thursday night, the 29th of October, 2020. We're almost through the year, Mike. Like, it's going to be over before we know it. Like, we almost
Christmas
made it.
is going to be here.
I know. Good news is Erin Lawrence is here next week, and she sent me a whole list of like stuff she's been reviewing.
Perfect.
So that's going to be pretty great. Joe, welcome. Yeah. If your first time joining the show, you're in pre-show. You've got the live version. Two, you're in pre-show. We normally edit this out for the podcast and for what goes on the regular channel. But if you want to join us live, Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at theaverageguy.tv/live. Pretty much every Thursday. Thanksgiving, no. That's the fourth Thursday in November. No, but that Friday, Sammy and I are back. So my daughter will be back, and she'll be out of school. They're getting. So
Northwest where they end early.
Yeah, they're ending at Thanksgiving, and then Christmas break is all of December.
That's kind of nice.
Crazy. Yeah. No, good for her. Okay, good. We're on there. So you could join us on Thursdays if you're a regular. I see Joe and Ken out there, and they are definitely the regulars. Joe, thanks for the beer. We're covering the Love Honey tonight. We'll talk about that during the show. If you're a regular listener, thanks for coming out, being part of it. I see Tony and Ryan as well. Thanks for coming out. Did you get new headphones, Mike?
No.
Ryan was asking in the chat room, new headphones, but no.
Maybe just the hat makes them stand out more.
You look hunterish.
It's deer season. Well, almost deer season. It's deer prep season.
Tony gets the dedicated viewer award for watching live on vacation. So good job, Tony. Thanks for doing that.
And I think Tony got a new drone or something. I think I saw something on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah. Right before I was like coming on the show, I was scrolling. I think that was him.
Sweet.
We were talking about heaters.
Yeah.
How to heat a small spot. I put a link in private chat. It's the second one. It's Home Depot. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's like
that's a long ass link, man. Okay.
Yeah, it's like $55, but it's just a little attachment you put right on top of a big propane tank, and they work pretty well.
Figure out how to heat my shed, because that's during the winter. That's the only. I have to be careful because YouTube's coming down hard on tobacco. So
are they really?
They are. Yeah, they are. If you talk about it,
starts saying too much about the CIGARSs. What like code word for it?
I see what you're like. Hold on, let me share my screen so we can let folks in. We're in the pre-show. If you're just joining us for the very first time.
And people in chat might have a better idea for how to heat a small little.
Oh, I see. So this one right here.
Yeah, just attaches right on top of any propane tank and turn them on, and man, they put out a lot of heat.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then you don't need electricity.
Makes me wish I had seen this first. I don't mind because I'm running off the generator and I need the generator to run anyways.
Right.
So good. Well, it's good to know there's something like that. I might even be able to get away. They've got a single. Let's see, why is it not?
Yeah, they have like the $30 ones, I think. Yeah. Single.
Yeah, that's kind of a handy. Things are kind of slow. Is my video okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For some reason, so $40. Yeah. So I bought a little, circular space heater that plugs in, and it didn't. At 32 degrees, it was not keeping the shed warm enough. I was pretty cold. Now, if I was probably wearing some better shoes, I was in tennis shoes and my slippers. No, I'm just kidding. I was in tennis shoes. So, maybe
you throw on your big winter boots, Yeah.
Because it is just a wood floor. Like, it is just a shed. And
I just see you in like Christmas vacation, just out there in like a bathrobe.
Exactly.
Shitter's full.
Exactly. Enjoying a cocktail and a
cigar,
a stick of.
Oh, sorry, I'm
a stick of something that's on fire.
A candle. We'll start calling them candles.
Candles. Yeah, we have to come up with a code word.
Shipment of candles came in.
You have to come up with a code word. I guess in pre-show it's okay if we make the mistake. Although I wouldn't want this channel getting banned either. The live thing, but yeah, they're starting to come down on some folks. So. So Joe, I did buy an electric space heater. I bought a little mini one that was kind of designed for just a single room, and the shed is literally 8 by 10. It's not a very big shed, So I kind of thought that'd be fine, but apparently the walls are paper thin. Like it literally in some spots is that thin. So it does. The doors face south, which is good. So I don't have the wind blowing in there in the winter. But Mike, my mind went to, I could spray an insulation in this thing, and then I could put a new door on the front, maybe a heat exchanger.
You could literally have a ham Radio Shack, back there too. I'm just saying that's where my mind went was, this could be a ham shack.
So I told Ed this as we were enjoying a smoking stick. I was like, I'm going to outfit this thing. It'll be basically a man, a man shed. And then I'll need to get another shed for my tools and stuff. Oh, so I don't know.
I would love to have a spot like that outside.
It is kind of nice.
Yeah.
It is I should replace the door because it's kind of the original doors that, that just go like this, and they're crappy. Right. They're just crappy. And I could easily frame, like I could go to Menards and get an outside door for $100. Wait to find one on clearance, whatever. Put it in there. And that would stop, I think, most of the air. And I need to get a little vent. Maybe I put a little vent in there to, you kind of, because you've got particulates. We won't call them by the S word, but we have particulates that need to exit out the building. So
particulates.
I don't want to trigger. I said the word earlier and I shouldn't have.
Ed and your candles. Jeez,
my candles. There we go. That's what we're gonna do. My candles.
All different flavors of candles. Jim's just really into candles. Thompson's candles.
Don't want to get exactly. You don't want to get in trouble. Premium candles.
Yeah.
Premium candles.
Cuban candles are the best. I hear.
I hear Cuba makes really good candles. Some good ones in Nicaragua too. Those candles are, they last about an hour and a half.
And they're handmade candles,
Exactly. Mm-hmm. All right. I think we should. I'm thirsty, so let's get going on this thing here. Hold on. Let me get this. This waiting till the show to drink the beer. That's gotta.
I don't know why.
That was seemed like a good idea at the time, but all of a sudden I was like, I don't know. Okay, today's the 29th. You got any trick or treat? What are you guys doing for trick or treat?
No, we're gonna have like a 6-foot party out in the circle, the cul-de-sac we live in, and then the kids are just gonna stick to that circle. We're not gonna have them go out past that.
The COVID.
A tailgate in the circle.
The COVID. Alex, Joe, Brian, Tony, Kevin. No, I haven't seen Kevin yet. Dave, good to see you out there. Ryan, Ken, welcome. I haven't seen Schoonover in a while. Where's that? All right, let me do this thing. Here we go. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 466, recorded on October 29th, 2020. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home. News, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Carlson, broadcasting live from a chilly mic in the pre-show. We were talking. I think it's going to warm back up though a little bit. I was lighting candles in the shed and out there. It was kind of chilly, and so you had to be in the pre-show to know what that reference. You should. By the way, if you only listen to the recorded, maybe you're only listening to this as a podcast, you should come out and join us live. It's tons of fun. Head up to theaverageguy.tv/live. But Mike, a little chilly, but hunting weather's here for you, right?
Yeah. I'm hoping it stays like this weekend's supposed to be like 50 and sunny. That would be perfect. But I'm just glad the snow didn't stick around because I was lazy and I had not picked up my leaves yet. So that snow came, blanketed all those leaves. I'm like, shoot, if this sticks around, I'm done for. But luckily it melted off, so I'm able to. That's tomorrow's plan is to get those leaves off the ground.
Yeah, are you doing it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Saturday's plan for me is to get out there, and Saturday afternoon it's like 50. So that's like -7 Celsius. I don't know how that works, but we, of course, what I do know works. We've got show notes that have a table of contents, which means you can get right to the content. If you want to listen to it that way, you can do it, including full transcripts out at theaverageguy.tv. This one will be theaverageguy.tv/HGG466. Before we get into the iPhone, it's all iPhone 12 tonight, friends. I'm just going to be honest with you. Mike and I both have it. Before we get into that one, Mike got one. I got one. We're pretty excited about it. Big thanks to Hover for supporting the show tonight, for supporting this episode, and actually probably here out through the end of the year. If you need a new domain, I don't know, maybe you're using one of the other ones. Mike, I don't know about you, I've always been a Hover guy. Head out to theaverageguy.tv/hover. They got a $2 deal right now. You get $2 off any new domain if you're a new customer for them. And so if you use that link, theaverageguy.tv/hover, that first domain will be $2 off. Give it a try. Then while you're at it, go visit Maple Grove Partners, maplegrovepartners.com. Christian will set you up, buy a domain, set up a website. It's kind of a match made in heaven. maplegrovepartners.com. And a big thanks to both Hover and Maple Grove Partners for supporting Home Gadget Geeks. We'll push all the community announcements to the very end of the show. So if you want to know what's going on with the meetup and such, hang out to the end of the show. Mike, but a big thanks to Joe who sent us Honey Love. As soon as I saw this, I was like, are you kidding me? Like this is my favorite, Joe. I'm not going to lie.
So it's a Bach.
It is a Bach.
Right.
Yep. It is a Bach. Lost 40 Brewing there in Arkansas. We've had these before, and they're just pretty great. We're going to talk more about them here towards the end of the show. But you see, good little head on it. Good little amber. Joe, thanks. Yeah. We want to get to the iPhone coverage, so we'll be drinking this and then talking about it.
6.3%. I like that.
Here at maybe we'll be talking about it. I have it in the show notes so we remember.
Good.
Joe, thanks for sending us those beers. Like I said, we'll be giving some tasting notes at the end. That sounds really stupid, but head out to theaverageguy.tv/HGG466. There'll be some details on it is there, and we'll do it at the end of the show. Joe, thanks for sending those out. If you want to send us your beers, your beer picks, send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. Mike, I came over to your house to drop off the beers that Joe had sent, and you were patiently waiting for the UPS guy. You literally were stalking him. I thought for a second you'd had your drone in the air, and you're like, oh, there's a UPS truck. He's close. What time did it finally get there?
Not till like 6. And you came over at 3, and it kept saying all day that it was almost here. And, I did learn something interesting. There is I want to know the algorithm for UPS and how it works. Because this truck went to the same other neighborhood 3 different times. They would go to that neighborhood, go over here, and then go back to that neighborhood. They go to Village Point a few times. So I'm like, oh, good. They already hit Village Point. They'll be here soon. Nope. Did another circle. So apparently mine was not a high priority for them. But the UPS guy did say, I bet you've been waiting for this all day. When he handed it to me, I said, yes, I have. I've been super excited. So yeah, I was stalking him on the UPS app. I don't think FedEx does it. I know Amazon does it. But as far as seeing where the actual truck is that your thing is on that day, I really like that. If you don't have a UPS account, that was kind of a nice little feature that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, the notification for me, it came Tuesday. So we ordered it at the end of the show Thursday night, then processed Friday, shipped on Monday, got here Tuesday afternoon. They had said between 2:15 and 5, I think is what I sent you. And it came at 2:30. So it was pretty cool. I spent the afternoon setting up. Mike, why don't you do a quick rundown? You talked about it towards the end of the show last week. I still can't believe I actually pulled the trigger on that thing.
That's what I want to talk about first is the fact that we were talking about this on the show randomly. You didn't know I had gotten the new phone until I think you probably saw it in the notes because I had put that in late.
No.
And you saw it and you got the new phone. And then all of a sudden, by the end of the show, we're on the Sprint website ordering your new iPhone. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
You must have said something it struck what you must have said something to spark the trade-in.
It was the trade-in thing, right?
Was.
And I think you realized that this is probably the last year for you.
Yeah.
That you were going to get value for your phone.
For that phone. And I've always been the worst. You sell things for more than they're worth after keeping them for 2 weeks. I hold them for 200 years and then they're worth nothing, right? That's just the way I am. And I think you said something. I was like, I wonder. And I started looking. I went back and when I was editing the show, I went back and listened to that part again. The actual purchase is in the full version of the show. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, it's in that feed. If you're not, you can head over to the live feed. I think it's called The Average Guy TV, I think is what our live feed is. It's the one you're watching right here on the live channel. You can get it there. I buy it actually in the post show. Which I don't know if I've ever done. It came down to $7 a month. Why wouldn't I make.
I was shocked when we got down to the final price.
Yeah. Well, that 8 Plus, you're right. It was right on the end, right on the edge of getting kind of the best deal ever.
We did learn though to shop around, right, to really find the best deal. I think if you're Verizon and AT&T, those deals are offered directly through the Apple website right now. At least Verizon, I know it was. Because I did price check Verizon website versus Apple at website, and they were the same. Sprint was not though. Like I think if you bought it through the Apple website, we saw for Sprint it was gonna be like $33 a month.
Yep.
And we went to the Sprint store, it ended up being $7. So definitely shop around, check. I think it's really now it's probably down between carrier and Apple.
Yeah.
You might throw Best Buy in the mix and check them too, but it'll probably be between your carrier and Apple.
If you're not a Sprint customer and you want to be one, now they merge with T-Mobile. Yep. Check your market. It's free. The iPhone's free if you want to pick it up from them. Mike, you gave a little overview last week, but why don't you, just for folks who haven't been, listen, up until last Thursday, I hadn't been paying attention. I had no idea what was on this phone. And I'll be honest, I didn't buy it because it had a lot of great features. I bought it because this was the last second I was going to get any money for my phone. And it's like, It was one of those purchases like, I need this thing. I need to have it. It doesn't need to be fancy. I bought just the 12. I didn't do Pro. I kind of bought the middle of the road 64 gig for what I had before. I just felt like, I probably should get on this, especially for that price. But talk a little bit about the specs on this phone.
Yeah, for this phone, the big thing that I think a lot of people were talking about was the new form factor. And it's not really even a new form factor. They kind of actually went back a few generations to that iPhone 4 or 5 era where you have a really flat screen. So flat screen with the metal edges. And so nothing curved. I had the old, and I already put it in the box and to ship out. But, I had the iPhone 10 before this, and it kind of had that curved screen right on the edges where your fingers could kind of roll off it. And there you go. Jim showed it. Very flat, which I really like. That was something that I remembered liking. And all of you who were iPhone fans back when those phones were big, my big question was, are we going to have a antenna gate situation again with the you're holding it wrong scenario? Because when they had those phones, the antennas, the way people held the phone, where they were getting bad reception. But no reports of that yet. I haven't had any issues with it. So I think they definitely solved those. So, new design as far as form factor, with that came screen upgrades. They're using a new type of glass called ceramic shield is what they're calling it. So it is a little bit more shatter resistant. Yeah. And the tests have shown that it does not help with scratches because you really have a balance when you're talking about screen and glass. You can have a little less shatter, but it's going to be a little more pliable and it's going to scratch a little bit easier. Whereas you can have it be, pretty scratch resistant, but that makes it more brittle and stiff and it's going to shatter easier. So I think, that's here nor there, right? I think if I get an extra foot of drop protection I think they said maybe, is it 25% times more you can drop it that it won't shatter? That wasn't a big deal for me, but I think we'll see in the long run if that actually helps people out if we do see less screen replacements. It scratches about the same is what the results show. So Jerry Rig Everything is a great YouTube channel if you guys don't follow him. And he actually goes and he does there's that, is it Mohs thing of hardness? Is that the scale of hardness? No. And he has different pens that scratch at all those. And it scratches between a 6 and a 7. So it starts to scratch at 6 and really scratches at 7. And so, it might shatter less, but are
you going to put a screen on it? Are you going to put a screen?
I don't. I've never put screen protectors on, and I think I've only shattered. I had said last week I think I'd never shattered a phone. I had to think back about that. I think I shattered one when I was in high school. I think I shattered a screen. Actually, it wasn't high school; it was probably college. But so yeah, I've never had an issue with that. I really never drop my phone too often. I even thought about going no case on this phone. Because it's a really pretty phone, and I was like, I don't really drop it often, but I did end up going with the case. But so real quick, getting back to specs, new display. So in terms of ceramic shield, but also higher resolution and a lot better contrast ratio. So you got I think the other one was 1,500 to 1 contrast ratio. Now it's 2 million to 1 contrast ratio. So it's going to look a lot better. And then 5G, of course. I mean, that was the thing Apple would not shut up about in their announcement. It was just I think they said 5G probably a million times. And obviously they were partnering with Verizon. And I think honestly, that's why we saw a lot of big carrier discounts on these is because, the storyline was 5G is real. right now it's real. It's always been here, but now it's like we're ready. Like we're ready for more adoption. And obviously with iPhone now adopting it, that's a lot more users on 5G. And I'm honestly kind of glad Apple forced my hand there because I've tried Android. It's just I'm in the Apple ecosystem. All my families, all my friends are, so that's where I live. And I'm kind of glad I wasn't too early of an adopter into 5G because here in Omaha it wasn't great before, but now I noticed with my experience, and we'll talk about that later, has been really good on 5G here in Omaha, at least on Verizon. So 5G being a big thing there, and then just beyond that, obviously they're incremental upgrades in CPU and GPU and things like that. With the new, are we on now A14 Bionic? I think is their new chip, and obviously Apple doing their own silicon now they're able to control everything from hardware to software, which is nice. So those are kind of the big upgrades you got.
I see. I don't know if it'll focus for you. Let's see. It says 5. It did. Yeah. It says 5G up by the battery.
Yep.
Right. Does that mean I'm getting 5G?
It does.
They're not. It's not faking it.
No, well, okay, so that means you have 5G service. Okay. The phone's actually really smart. It's not gonna, because 5G takes more battery power than LTE does. Okay. So it's gonna tell you, it's always gonna say 5G if you have 5G signal, just so you know. It's gonna use LTE though until you do a task that needs a lot of bandwidth. So let's say you go to download an episode of a podcast, it'll crank up to 5G. But if you're just browsing Facebook, it's gonna drop down to LTE. Right, so it's going to US, but it does mean you have coverage there, which I'm wondering, Jim, if that was native Sprint or if that's now, since you have Sprint T-Mobile. T-Mobile touted, their 5G network is a lot more expanding, especially across Omaha. I think it's expanding across Omaha now too.
It is here in Omaha. It's on T-Mobile, so I'm using T-Mobile's 5G. 188 down, 49 up. That's actually better than my
wow.
That's so the 49 up
that's in your basement.
It's in my basement. Yeah, that's no kidding. And that's to Kansas City. So that's the T-Mobile. That's we used to be Sprint, but now the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. 50 up, 188 down, 5G. Like, is that fake, or can I be a believer?
Well, and because where my house is at, I'm actually kind of on the far western side of Omaha, and so I'm kind of on the outskirts of 5G for Verizon. And I ran my speed test yesterday in my house, not outside or anything, and I had 73 down, 9 up, so still pretty good. I think those are not. Oh man, I thought.
No, don't worry about it. Just fix your camera. Yeah. Keep talking.
I thought I would be able to get a little bit faster speeds at my house, but I was still happy with 75 down and 9 up. But what I really want to try out, Jim, on that 5G, you're running it right now live.
Yeah. We'll just let it do its thing.
What I want to test out is, so obviously for me, I don't know the technology T-Mobile uses, but I know they all use different technologies for 5G. I want to go downtown because downtown Omaha has the millimeter wave Verizon 5G. So I really want to go down there and see, the almost gigabit speeds downtown. You're actually down. I don't know if T-Mobile has millimeter though wave, but I'm going to head downtown at some point and test that out and really see the speeds work. But I've been really impressed with that 5G.
That up is better. I'm going to tether my phone to the home network and use the up, because I have unlimited on Sprint. So
that's what I need to check too, is I'm wondering if, because those speeds are getting so good, I wonder if they're going to have more people start tethering. I know right now with Verizon, like I'm on the unlimited plan with Verizon, but I wonder if they'll start to pare down how much data. I know right now you can use 25 gigs of tethering data before they start kind of decreasing your speed. But I don't know if with 5G now, does that give them more bandwidth to play with? So will they not remove that cap? We'll see kind of how they go, because you're right, that is faster than most people's home internet.
I know it's faster than mine for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting 180 down now. Like Cox is, for whatever reason, they advertise 150, but I'm getting 180 easily, and I'm getting 10, 11, 12 up. So it's working. It's what's advertised, which is more than it's been in the past. But like, holy crap! When I saw that, when I did the speed test, I'm like, oh, I got to test this out a couple times. So it worked great. So yeah. So I just, the thing was, I wanted to ask you is like, is that real? Like, or am I getting faked out in some way? Cause I've just heard so much skepticism around this 5G stuff, but apparently down here in Bellevue, we're doing okay. Mike, when the phone came for me, it actually super thin box. It's got the charging cable, an Apple sticker, and some instructions you can't even read. They were literally
right. No power brick to go along with that cable.
Nope, and no earbuds anymore, right? Of course, because the phone doesn't have that. But I guess even because the 8 Plus didn't have a headphone jack, they sent you the lightning cable one and the thing. So
adapter.
Those are done. Those days are over. For me, the setup experience couldn't have been any easier. You'd had some trouble with it, but I literally took the phone out. I actually called Micah. She's the co-host on Theme Thursday with me. And I got her on the screen, and then I showed her peeling off the plastic off the screen, which is super satisfying, right? You just kind of peel that off, but not a lot of waste in that box. I think that and a few other things that are in there, like I just, there's not much to it.
Right.
Put the phone side by side, and you begin the setup process on the iPhone 12. And it communicated with the 8 Plus and said, do you want to transfer? And I put in a few things, and boom, it was off to the races. When it was done, now that didn't work well for you. For me, it was flawless. So again, 8 Plus 64 gig, 12 64 gig. Maybe that's the thing of having the exact same size on it. Didn't have to go to iCloud for it at all. In fact, I didn't even, up until recently, I haven't even had an iCloud account. I used the free one, and then it ran out of space or whatever. So transferred pictures, settings. Mike, when I picked up the phone, it looked exactly like the old iPhone, down to all the apps being installed. Now, I had some activation problems, and so that I had to solve later on in the evening, and needed to get it connected to the Wi-Fi so I could download the apps. But 30 minutes maybe?
And that's the experiment. That's the experience you're looking for, right? Yeah. To be able to go from one phone to the other, and you pick it up and you're off to the races. Yet it was weird. I'm glad you had a good experience. Mine, I had two issues. One, when I first went through, I actually got to the activating screen as far as like carrier activation, and just sat there and spun, and you could tap the next, but it wouldn't do anything. And I Googled it, and apparently that was a massive issue. All you had to do there was restart the phone, and it would activate the second time. Yeah. So that was a big issue. But then when you walk through the process, it says, hey, do you want to transfer from your old phone? Right away, it says, hey, do you want to get settings? Like, do you want to set it up? And it'll start to pull over settings. But then it says, hey, for this massive data transfer, do you want me to do that from your phone? Or I can just do it from iCloud if you don't want to do it from your phone. And I tried doing it from the phone. I think you're right, though, Jim. The different phone sizes, because I had the biggest iPhone 10, and then I only have the 128 gig iPhone 12. But what's interesting there is I was only using 45 gigs according to the phone of that iPhone 10. So I was like, oh, I have more than enough space. It must be doing like an image, volume size. Copy. Yeah, volume size before it came over. But it's frustrating because they put that after you do a bunch of settings. So that is after you've already set up Face ID, you've already put all your Apple cards in. So you kind of have to restart. So it's like, so I did that. It said, oh, nope, now I failed. You got to restart the whole process over and then do it from iCloud. But the iCloud was flawless too. I mean, that worked really fast. Downloaded all the apps again. And then overnight, all the photos came down from iCloud and it worked well. I actually run, which is nice. I'm glad I do. This iMac behind me is actually a cache for iCloud across our whole network, so that if I take a picture and overnight it uploads it to iCloud or whatever it does, it actually goes to this machine first, and then any other machine that tries to access that photo from iCloud just pulls it off the cache, which saves a bunch of bandwidth. I checked my usage, and it actually pulled 20 gigs from online, and the other 20 it had in the cache. So it's nice. 20 gigs of bandwidth, which now in the days of Cox data caps, it's kind of nice when you can save any of that that bandwidth.
Yeah, when you think of 50 gigs of pictures on your phone or videos, or that goes kind of fast. It didn't activate right away. I had to connect it to the network to get kind of the transfer. I did get it working, but throughout the afternoon, it just wouldn't activate. And I did your trick. By the way, it took me forever to figure out how to turn the thing off. Like
without the home button, that was the biggest difference for you.
Yeah, I'll talk about that here in a second, because that's been a whole new experience of getting rid of the home button. But so I just jumped on Sprint's website and got a hold of somebody in chat, and they actually activated it via chat. So I didn't have to call, jumped on there. They verified a few things. They got a couple numbers from me, took care of me, tried to sell me a few things in the process. I said, I have to consult my I have to consult with my Apple, consultant guy. I can't buy anything until I've talked to my Apple guy, Mike Uyghur. So it activated that night, and man, they activated it. The other phone shut off right away. Like, this isn't, remember the days you'd go in the stores and you'd have to get the technician, and they'd have to put a bunch of numbers in and hook it up.
Contacts over. Remember, moving contacts from one phone to the other.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrific.
My text messages, and it's just crazy how easy that is now.
By the way, this is not exclusive to iPhones. You can do this on Android as well. They have ways of transferring stuff. So the only real problem I had was with my Google Authenticator app, which I'd used for Google, and then early on I started putting all our crypto stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it doesn't really that thing hasn't changed in like 20 years. It's the same. There's no way to back it up. Not that I could figure out. There's no way to back it up, bring it back down.
Yeah, and they say they're supposed to be. Like, did you Google? Because I Googled that, and oh yeah, it backs up to your account. Like, I've never found out how. There's no login. There's no.
I couldn't find it. It was Meanwhile, LastPass flagged me. Hey, you want to download everything? Like, yeah, it's there, and all the 2-factor stuff, all the auth stuff was there.
I love the LastPass Authenticator app. That's one of my favorite. I use them because I still use Bitwarden, my self-hosted for password manager. So I actually don't use the LastPass password manager, but I do use the LastPass Authenticator.
Yeah. And I use both LastPass on the phone and the Authenticator. So I spent about an hour taking all those, like going to the website, putting it in, deauthorizing it, authorizing it again, putting it in LastPass so it's available there. We use the Microsoft Authenticator for Gallup, so I just set a few of those up. In fact, I had to go the next day into work. We'd had internet trouble the day before. I had internet trouble the next morning. A phone with no internet here, and even though I was on LTE, I couldn't get to my email and I couldn't sign into it here, and it was a mess. So I ended up going in. But from that perspective, that was really, when I think about the setup, just those two things. One, activating through chat, which was fabulous. It actually worked out great. And then the Authenticator. So if I were to do it again, I just would never use Google Authenticator ever again and put them in LastPass or Microsoft or whatever to get it done. So a pretty great just experience right off the bat of getting everything moved over.
I just like how everything's in the cloud now, right? Like when we think about, I'm starting to have that same experience on laptops and PCs. I'm like, I can be up and running in an hour because everything's in the cloud. There's no more moving stuff over. But I've never been more appreciative though, Jim, of the integration of third-party password managers into the Apple keyboard than I was when you have to go and log into every single app again when you get the new phone, right? And then you find those apps you haven't opened since you got the phone. Like when I went to go leave for the first time, like, oh, I haven't logged into my garage door app. And but just right there, it's just built in the keyboard. Yep, do I pull that from Bitwarden for you? Yeah. Yes, I do. Because I have no idea what my password is. And that integration, total side note, I've actually started using those really long random generated passwords that your password manager gives you. I used to be so weary of that because I'm like, well, what if I don't have my phone with me to get to Bitwarden? Like, what if I can't get in? And you know what? It's just so integrated now on the phone that I've gone to it. I don't use any of my standard passwords anymore. They're all passwords. I couldn't tell you what they are.
Generated. Nope. No, yeah. I have a moment of panic when I'm like, when I can't get to LastPass. I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to. I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to. It's made
me actually want to go back to LastPass because it really worries me now, though, because I'm self-hosted on Bitwarden. I'm like, what if my Unraid box craps out? Then I can't get it to anything because that's where Bitwarden.
Backup of that. You got a backup of.
Like, how would I would need to get that image reinstalled. Like, it would be such a pain just to get like Bitwarden back up to get my accounts.
Well, what I really liked, in the setup, you do the Face ID. So this is the big difference. No home button anymore. No fingerprints. Now it's all Face ID. And at first that kind of took me, a little while. You got to do this thing. Oh, hey, be quiet, Siri. The watch wanted to join the podcast. You do that thing where you move your head all around, you get it. And then, it just makes it slick to set up all those things. Do you want to do this? Yep. Face ID. Boom. It's in. The only drawback is when you're wearing a mask. Yes. Today at work, yesterday at work, I was wearing a mask trying to do something.
You have to pull it down,
or you can put the code in, right? It works that way as well. I have not found, you warned me last week about the switch from having a home button and the swipe motions versus. Thanks for warning me, because it actually got me thinking about it ahead of time. and it was a quicker adoption. And one of the things I really like now, so when you swipe up, when you have a screen open and you swipe up to, I used to just push the button and it would bring them back. Now, if you swipe halfway up, it gets to the spot where all the apps are.
Yes.
Right. And that's actually a better motion for me. Like, now that I'm used to that, you bring that up and then you can scroll through those things really, really fast. Okay, listen, this is a first world problem. Total first world problem. I'd have to double click instead of just one halfway swipe, right?
And I can make it even shorter for you, Jim. If the white bar appears at the bottom, just swipe left or right on that white bar.
Oh.
So if you see the white bar, if you're in an app, you can literally grab that. Especially, that's good. Obviously, you're not seeing all your apps, but if you're just going between two really quick, I go back and forth. Like, I'll be listening to music and I'll be in, email, and I'll just swipe back and forth even quicker.
You're changing my life one day at a time. One day at a time. So I have not, I've not struggled with like going from a home button to a little bit because you prepped me. So thanks for doing that. Right. But and then of course I got the notch. And so kind of learning now, instead of swiping up, because that's taken, I have to swipe down to get the flashlight and some of those.
And which side? I still, Jim, to this day, cannot remember what side is notifications and which is control center. Right? Because I will try, like, I just want to view my notifications. Like, wait, I swipe on the right, and that's I still do it wrong every time.
Well, the way I remember is the utility things like the connection and the battery and the that kind of stuff. That's where your utilities are, right? So when you
yes, you're
battery,
right.
And then on the left side is, or the time notifications. Those kind of make sense. Pull that down, and that's your notification bar. So, and then if you do it in the or the center, right, is actually notifications, right?
Yeah.
So,
so did you do any widgets? Have you added any widgets to your home screen?
I haven't done any widgets yet. Okay. No. So
those are great for me, because for me,
talk about them.
So for me, I check crypto prices a lot, and it's just one less, right? It's right on my home screen. I have it right as a widget. So I have 3 widgets. I have stocks, weather, and crypto. Those are things that usually they did have those style of widgets if you swiped over to the left in iOS 13, where you would have that, whatever they call it, command center on the left side, but this is just right there on your home screen. So I unlock it instantly. It's almost like it feeds that need for me to, instead of opening that app while I'm doing another task. So I'll unlock my phone while I'm going to my email, just look up and I see the Bitcoin price. And that saved me having to open an app and look at it. Same thing with weather. So I do like the widgets. I know a lot of people have been doing some really creative things with their widgets, and I think a lot of apps are coming out with cool ways to integrate widgets. I was pretty early on, so I did the beta for iOS 14, and that was obviously before all the third-party apps could do widgets. So I just haven't even looked at them since iOS 14 has gone public, and now there's third-party integration there. But I really like them. I think they're pretty handy.
Alex says the swiping without the home button reminds me of swiping on my own Palm Pre. You're right, Alex. Gosh, I wish I'd kept that Palm Pre. God, that's another thing. Like, I got rid of it at some point in time, and I was like, I'm not going to want this thing, and I got rid of it.
Still has one at his house. I think he has like this old pile of Sprint phones back there, and I bet that's one of them.
You'd slide that thing, and I feel like that thing was going to slide right off the end. And then Brian says, have you guys played with the back tap functionality on the iPhone? I don't know what that is, Mike.
So back tap's cool. I set the wrong thing for it, because I did it for a screenshot, because I'm like, screenshot's something I do a lot. So Jim, back tap is you can set something to where if you just do that with 2 taps, it'll do an action for you. And there's a certain set. So I did screenshot. I found that for me, it was taking a screenshot and I was setting my phone down. And maybe they've gotten better about not sensing putting your phone down as a double tap. But there are things you can do with that and set it. And I have to go back and play with it, because I did that during the beta, and it was pretty buggy in the beta. It was too sensitive. I ended up with a bunch of screenshots in my camera roll because I didn't realize it because I was just setting my phone down. So yeah, it's a pretty cool functionality. And Alex is totally right. And Siri shortcuts is definitely, it's one of those, you have to go there. So there's an app called Shortcuts, and you can just start to play around with some of the stuff. It's one of those, you just kind of need to have a day to just play. Like, if you're ever just like, I don't really have, I'm looking for something techy to do, because it takes a while to kind of get in that mindset of how to set up cool shortcuts, but they do have some cool ones in the library. Very similar to, Amazon has those for A-Lady, and it kind of has a library of cool little shortcuts. But the automation, Alex has a perfect example where his pictures copy over to his server via a shortcut. And like I had a shortcut where every time, because you can set it when it connects to a certain Bluetooth device to do something. So I had mine in my car. Hey, when you connect to this Bluetooth device, resume the last podcast. So I would get in my car, it would connect to that car, and then it would start playing the podcast, which I ended up turning it off because my kids are always in the car now. I don't want to go to school. And sometimes I didn't want to play right away amongst all the chaos of a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. But yeah, there are some really cool shortcuts in there.
Yeah, I'll have to do that because I'd love it to connect and then just start playing. It doesn't do that natively. It does that in Sarah's car. But it's the Subaru in-dash player that's doing that, not the phone. It's automatically. It's coming up in
the old school style, right?
Yeah,
like, our cars aren't cool enough. We still have the aux cords, so I'm still using external Bluetooth.
You talked me into the MagSafe case, which I picked up on when did I bring the beer out?
Over, so Friday.
When I brought it out. So I swung by the Apple store. Mike, I don't know how that Apple store was close to me. That would probably be dangerous. I'm pretty glad it's not. Although, wow, that's the first time I've been in the pandemic-driven Apple store. It's like, have you been in there? They have a big wall in front, so you can't see in the store anymore. It's just a big white wall. It's rippled, and then there's and then in front of that is like a service window, and it's completely glassed. There's just a little opening. It's like you've gone into, when you went into a convenience store in a bad part of town, and they had
stuff under.
You slide it under, kind of deal. Yeah, and the case came out from the back, and literally the guy helping me took out a fresh wiped off every square inch of the box, wiped off. Then, like with gloves on, pushed it across to me. I was like, oh, okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, but they were just being very, very careful at the Apple to do that.
Cool experience. I had mine shipped to me, and let's talk about the case first, and then we'll move on to other MagSafe accessories because I did order some other ones as well.
Yeah. So the case slips right in. It feels good in the hand. It doesn't. Now this phone doesn't lend itself to flying out of your hands like some of the other ones have in the past. Right. I think the shape of it, the square shape of it, is just that way. But it was just nice to have that case on there. And then I wondered if my WizTech magnets would work on this because, again, that thing is around the outside of it, right? It's the metal around the outside, and it worked. Now, was it as strong as when I had the original? Which, by the way, I think I forgot to take the case off the iPhone 8 Plus that I mailed back. I just when I was dropping it at the UPS store. I was like,
that probably has a case on it.
I think I left the case. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to use it for anything. But that had that metal plate, and it would thump to it. You'd suck right onto it. This at least holds it. So for now, until I get some kind of charger for the car or whatever, I don't have to replace anything. Just set that down. Yeah, and it worked just fine.
That's nice that yours held it strong enough, right? Because I have the Scotia brand, and mine will not. I have the same case as you, so I did the same thing. I got the MagSafe case. And Jim, what I like about this case is it's grippy enough, but it still slides in and out of your pockets. Mm-hmm. It's not too tacky. And sometimes you have that bad mixture of either it's too tacky and you can't get out of your pants pocket, or it's too slippery and it's sliding out of your hand. I thought they did a pretty good job on these cases. Jim, you and I were both kind of boring. We went black on black. So I went black case, black phone. It's kind of, I've never done anything different. Kind of just stuck in my ways.
Yeah.
I thought about going blue or doing something crazy, but what I was surprised is they didn't have any form of leather MagSafe case. I've actually been a really big fan of their leather cases in the past. I've kind of liked that feel. So I don't know if maybe the leather didn't work as well for MagSafe. But essentially, we covered this last week on the show, but just to recap MagSafe real quick, all MagSafe is, it's standard Qi charging with a ring of magnets around the outside that help that Qi charger align perfectly. So you get a lot better charge because you know for a fact that it's aligned right on the Qi charger. And then it also opens up possibilities for third-party manufacturers to create cool little MagSafe accessories, right? And so the idea is like your car mount, everything will just work MagSafe, and it's kind of like a built-in magnet. You no longer need that plate. So, kind of like first world problems, I know. But so I actually ordered the wallets too. So they did come out with, I actually ordered a single wallet, but there's a funny story to that. So they have a wallet that kind of slaps on the back, holds a few cards. And that's actually, for me, I'm starting to use Apple Pay so much that I'm like, I really can get away now with a wallet that only holds 3 cards. I need my driver's license, I need my carry permit, and maybe one bank card in case Apple Pay is not going to work, right? Like my Visa bank card is kind of covers all your bases, and so I can kind of get away with that. Okay, so here's the funny thing: this is before the phone even arrived. I had ordered the wallet. I did it all in one purchase. So when I did the pre-order of the phone, I pre-ordered the phone, the case, and the wallet. And so obviously my phone's shipping, and this is like Tuesday before last week. So the phone's going to be here Friday or Tuesday. I get an email from Apple saying, hey, call us. We have a problem with your order. I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, did Verizon, did something, because sometimes when you're upgrading on a line, there's all these things. Well, I called them like, oh, hey, so we're really sorry. We shipped you the wrong color wallet. So you asked for saddle brown or shipped you black. Keep that one. The other one's on the way. So just keep it. You'll have an extra. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But the weird part is neither of those items have shipped yet. Like if I look in my Apple history, so it's not like they didn't actually ship it. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they have these stacked up ready to go somewhere in some warehouse and they haven't released them all yet. Cause I know no one has gotten a wallet yet. So I'm wondering if they've honestly have them all boxed up, the labels on them, they're ready to go, but they just haven't, pressed
what
the green.
What would they be waiting on?
That's what I don't know. So it's weird. That was a week ago. Both of them still haven't shipped. So I told Jim, like, I'm going to bring you down. You're going to get a black wallet because I really want the black one. But
it sticks on the back. Is that what it does?
So it's just a little MagSafe wallet. So it's interesting. Obviously, charge will not go through the wallet as well if you were using MagSafe to charge. But I didn't buy the MagSafe charger. For me, it's going to be an accessory port. Unless the one thing Jim and I were talking about was it'll be really nice for the first third-party manufacturer that comes out with a MagSafe mount for the car that charges at the same time. And I think everyone who watched the Apple keynote, because Apple said, hey, Belkin is going to be coming out with the first one, this MagSafe car mount, and they showed it off in the keynote. I guarantee everyone thought that thing was going to power the device as well. And I thought so until I read the very fine print on Belkin's website. And because they don't even make it very clear on the website for Belkin. It's like, oh yeah, we have this thing and we have great cable management for the cable. But that to me would imply, oh yeah, obviously it needs to be plugged in. Every charger does. I'm like, okay, so it does a good job of hiding the cable. It's like, no, that thing does not provide any sort of power. So I have a few conspiracy theories there. I'm wondering if, since Belkin was the preferred partner with Apple, maybe they know that charging all the time in a car where sun's beating down through the dash, Qi is already getting hot, right? Maybe it's not good to really be charging your phone a lot in the car under the heat with Qi charging. So you're like, well, maybe we don't suggest that if you're going to use it as a mount and then plug your cable in for less heat. I don't know. So we'll see what third-party manufacturers do there.
But there's also some smarts built into the way the phone charges to
a lot of smarts, yeah.
To make sure, because they know people are just going to plug it in and set it and forget it. We know that. They just know those kinds of things are going to happen. So the phone's doing some things too, right, to kind of help the battery out a little bit, right?
It is. And there's a really interesting video, and I'll try and find a link so we can put it in the show notes. There was a gentleman, because the big thing now is, since it doesn't come with a brick, what's the best brick to use with your new iPhone? You have the shiny new iPhone, you want to charge it fast. What brick do you go with? And he used a little watt meter in line. So he tried a bunch of different bricks from a bunch of different companies. And I was shocked at how differing the results were. Like, just based off the profile, the PD profile, and some of them based on the phone. Even a wall wart that was rated at like 20 watts was only doing it at 10 for some reason with the iPhone. So very interesting, kind of the difference in how all those bricks work. I did buy the new Anchor one that just came out. So Anchor has one that's the same exact size, a tiny little cube, but it'll do up to 20 watts instead of 5 watts from the old Apple Cube. But Apple does, his results showed that the 20 watt Apple wall wart that you can buy additionally did provide the most power in the fastest way, but it was also the most expensive. So the Anchor one's only $15. I did like the small little form factor. That's what I'm going to throw in a bag whenever I need it, because I have no USB-C wall warts with my deal. Mm-hmm. So I did obviously have my regular USB-A with Lightning, but in those instances where you do want to charge really fast, I didn't have any brick that could do it. So I ended up grabbing the Anchor version there.
It's something I've never cared about. I don't know why. I guess I've never been in a situation where I need to quick charge my phone. So it charges overnight. I don't charge it during the day. It charges overnight. I mean, for 364 days out of 365, I use it during the day, charge it at night, good to go. And that phone, the battery had a my 8 Plus, did that for 3 years, never had a problem, and that battery was still as good at the end as it was in the beginning. So I don't know, Mike.
I wish mine would have been the same way, because I had a 10, which was a generation newer than yours.
Yeah.
And my battery, I mean, I would be down to 40% by 11 a.m.
Wow.
So I was always charging. But this battery, that was going to be one of my things that I love about it, is maybe it was just going from a 3-year-old phone to a new phone. That's probably most of it. Yeah. I think the battery life is pretty good.
Well, my conspiracy theory is I think charging slower is better for the battery, just to be honest, and charging fast is harder on it. But that's me. I have no math. I have nothing to back that up.
Hey, and it's a locked-in battery, so the faster you wear that thing out, the faster you're going to come in and grab a new phone.
Something like that.
Very true.
So I probably won't, even though I got the MagSafe case, I probably won't buy a Qi charger, although I might, just to be honest. If I get one and then it also has a watch charger on it, that would be the time.
Yes,
it makes sense. Although I charge my watch down here on my desk, the charger sits right here. At night before I go to bed, I'm always here. Last thing I do, take my watch off, set it down. First thing I do in the morning, when I come to sit down and work, the watch comes off. I don't use the watch as a clock because I have the A lady to do the clock for me, right? And I can whisper to her, "Hey, what time is it?" And she'll tell me in a whisper. Yeah. So that, I don't have any kind of blaring light in there or anything like that. So I kind of like that. Mike, you mentioned stands. Go ahead.
The cheap charging stands that you kind of mentioned, the one that do the watch, the phone, and some even have a third for AirPods, I think are so cool, and I would love it. If I lived in a super fancy home where the aesthetic was really important, I just have a bunch of cords over there. Yeah. I cannot bring myself to spend, because they're expensive. Yeah. They're $150 for some of those 3 model. I'm like, okay, I'm not spending $150 to charge my phone in a different manner that I can do right now. But they do look amazing. I could definitely see if you had a really nice looking office or whatever, they're kind of cool to have all those 3 charging from one cord, which is the coolest part.
You had mentioned the wallet earlier. And so I thought, I wonder if my current wallet is, it's not sticking to it. I can't figure out why. Look, I'm a guy, right? I've got this crappy old leather. And you kind of got me thinking, okay, if I do this new wallet, there's actually not a lot in here, but there are some important things, like the beer card from Hy-Vee. Can it hold the beer card from Hy-Vee? Not sure why I'm carrying this, but I have an Oyster card for the subway in London in my wallet. Maybe I thought I was going to go back and I didn't want to lose it. So that's there. I have a smart trip card this is for the Metro in Washington, D.C. I used to go there all the time too. And, so that's in my wallet. These things are important. The most, I know it's true. I probably could. Yeah, you can't do that, right?
Yeah,
you're right. I need to take these out. And then the all important one, DJ's dugout. You got to have the DJ's dugout card.
Spend the gift card.
Yeah, so I got a few things besides my credit cards. I got a few things to think about, Mike. That's in there. So and where are you going to put your candle wrappers? Right, I've got some candle wrappers here. When I was out,
I forgot about our joke, and I'm like, why? I'm expecting you to hold up a Yankee Candle little wrapper.
When I was out with Ed Sullivan, we had a few candles, and so that I thought we had some really good candles while we were there. So I decided this particular candle, this Atabey candle, was pretty good. I have a bunch of Byrons. I smoked way too many Byrons while I was there, but that was pretty good. And I think, which one is this? So I'd put them in my wallet to save them because I wanted to, remember the trip. So the wallet that's going to go on the back here, Mike, it's going to have to be tested. I'm going to have to test it with some things.
And I was a little disheartened because I had already ordered it, and then the reviews are kind of coming in, and they say it's decently strong to the phone. But one of the guys was doing a test where he would put it into his pants and see how easily it would just fall off. And he's like, this is the one thing you don't want to lose, right? And so he said it is a little light. So it'll take some work. I'll have to see if I even use it. I wasn't too worried. It was one of those things I want to try and see. But and because I have the same thing, I've gotten smaller and smaller on my wallet. And now I'm into one of those Travelambo little it's pretty tiny, but I think I can get down to 3 cards, and I'm gonna put the rest of them in in a lockbox in my car. So I still have them. Like if I'm like, oh man, I did forget there's something in there I still need, like my drone license, for example, right? I don't need to carry that around all the time. So I'll just have it in my car in case I ever do need it.
I'll just throw my whole wallet, this current wallet, in the car, and then just carry the things you need on a daily basis, right?
And it's a good thing for like runners or for when you go on your workout or your bike rides, Jim, because then it's one less thing. You just have it on your phone and you don't need to carry around a wallet. You don't have a wallet in a pocket and that. So for biking, running, I could see it being pretty useful.
Yeah. May give that, if you get that second one, I may give that a try as we do that. Last for me, I kind of gave into iCloud, and I don't know why, but popped up on the phone, like, here's some iCloud plans, and 50 gig, which I have only a 64 gig phone, is 99 cents. And I was like, okay, why wouldn't I have that available to me? Right.
Works really well, especially for photos and transferring stuff back and forth. Their backups. And you can, you don't have anyone else in the family who's Apple, do you?
Mm-mm.
So I love that they finally put iCloud storage in the family side, so I can share that. So our whole family shares a terabyte plan, which is more than enough. And Hannah uses the Mac laptop, both of our iPhones, iPads, and that's been great for moving stuff around. And all of her photos are stored there. Mine are stored there. Of course, we back them up to Nextcloud as well to have a local copy. But yeah, I think it's worth it too. I think ours is only like $2.99 for a terabyte, which is not bad. Maybe even 2 terabytes. I gotta check what our current plan is.
Yeah, terabyte, man, that'd be a lot, dude. That'd be a lot for a phone. You'd have to work hard. I mean, a lot of video.
But since you can share it with family on the laptop, you can use it for you can use like Dropbox, right? It's another backup there.
Yeah, Brian says 99 cents and 3% back if you use your Apple Card.
True. I put all my subscriptions are through my Apple Card.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Anything Apple related.
Mike, anything else that on the experience that you want to highlight?
For me, this is not new to the 12 from the 11, but if you have older than an 11 phone, having a 4K front-facing camera, the one new thing on the 12 this year is they do have HDR video on the front and rear camera. But for, if you're I do not call myself a content creator, I like to make a YouTube video every 6 months type of guy. For me, that's perfect because you can still use the selfie cam on your phone and get 4K footage, right? And be able to see yourself. I think that's pretty amazing to be able to have 4K on the front video. And then one thing is kind of cool to test out too. If you do find someone else with an iPhone 12, FaceTime is now, and this is like one of those Android users are going to roll over and be like, that's hilarious. But we finally have 1080p FaceTime on the iPhones. If you are on Wi-Fi or 5G, they have 1080p. And that's always been a thing of they've never wanted to make it. They've wanted to make the experience as good as possible. And LTE and HD FaceTime was just not worth the hassle. But now with 5G, you're out and about. You can have some HD FaceTime.
Yeah. Super cool. Anything else?
No. It's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. This is not, I think it's important to note here, this is not like some instrumental massive leap. Everyone should go out and grab this phone. But Jim brought up a good point earlier. If you're on an iPhone 8 especially, this is probably your last year to get some good trade-in. And they're doing all those deals now. Yeah. So, I mean, like Jim said, $7 a month on Sprint for that new phone is insane.
How could I not? That would have been criminal not to.
Sandwich, right? Yeah. Throughout the month, and you've paid for this brand new phone.
No, right on.
Good. Yeah. So there are some reasons to upgrade. For me, my battery life was awful, and my my speaker was sounding like everyone was underwater. So I was like, you know what? Yeah. Time to upgrade. I had owned that phone outright at that point. I'd had it for 3 years, so I was definitely way past my upgrade period. And mine, Jim, on Verizon, I went the same. No, I went with the iPhone 12, but I did bump up to 128, and mine was $17 a month. Could have been 12 if I had gone with the lower storage. But since I do shoot some video on my phone, I decided to go.
You did the right thing.
Not bad either. I mean,
I should have done the 128, just to be honest. That was, 64 is okay. I was only using 40 to begin with, so I was like, I can move, and that's all pictures. Just to be honest, I can move those pictures off. And,
but the funny part is you don't get any more trade-in value based on the size of your phone. It's always just the model. Yeah. So really, if you're never going to use it, there is no reason to pay that extra because when I go to trade in my phone, I don't get any more value than you do. We're gonna get the same value for that phone. They don't take into consideration size.
Yeah, so it kind of makes sense. Maybe always have the smallest that you can get away with, right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the recommendation on it. And it was when, you get those surprises every once in a while where you're not thinking about it, and all of a sudden it happens, and then you're like, whoa, this is pretty great. So we won't spend a lot of time here in the future talking about these phones because they're still just phones now. Like it did exactly what my other phone did. There's nothing new. Yeah. Except it's a new phone, right? So thanks for talking me into that. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we talked a little bit about the beer. Joe, again, thanks for sending those. Love Honey. It's a Bach. It's from Lost 40 Brewing out of Arkansas. We've been drinking it all night. Mike, what'd you say?
6.3%.
Yeah. What do you think?
I really like this one. This was, called it, this was our favorite from the last batch. Yeah. So I was excited to try it again, right? Because we obviously only get these when Joe's able to send them because they're from Arkansas. And it's really good. Mm-hmm. Nice and smooth. I mean, yeah.
And not like honey, like you.
I was trying to figure out how to explain this. I think you're gonna do it better than I was about to do. So
not overpoweringly sweet, but
more smooth like honey is kind of how I think of it, right? Like it's almost like when I think of honey, I don't taste much honey, but it's like when I think of it, it's a good way to describe it. More like a texture thing, really smooth.
In the summer, you kind of go with a shandy, or you go with we drank a lot of Bud Light Orange or Bud Light Lemonade, which I really like. But this, if I could get this on a regular basis, this would be all summer long.
Oh,
and with candles, like there's a few candles that I'd burn with this that would be pretty good, just kind of add
candle Christmas pine with oh sorry, I don't know. The logo. I want to talk about the logo real quick. So Love Honey, right? Oh, come on, my face.
There we go.
So it's a heart that's a beehive dripping honey with two arrows. I just thought that was a really cool logo, right? Love Honey, but it's a heart, but it's actually a beehive. You can see the stuff in there. Kind of cool.
Yeah, if this was local, this would all be this would be my daily driver. Like
I was excited. I thought we were gonna have the Oktoberfest tonight, and I've been waiting. Next week we for sure have that one because I'm excited to have the Oktoberfest one.
Yeah, Erin's on next week, and we'll talk. That's a good reminder. I will tell her to make sure she has an Oktoberfest, a local Oktoberfest, if she can still get one.
Even though it'll be in November.
I know. Well, technically Oktoberfest is in September, but
you're right. Yeah.
So, but maybe there'll be some around. Speaking of that, Erin's coming on next week. Joe, thanks for the beer. Next week we'll drink the Oktoberfest one. Next week, Erin Lawrence is on the show. Got a whole list of things you might want to think about for Christmas. Between now and Christmas, we're going to talk a lot about things that you should buy yourself for Christmas. Come on, you're going to do it. Like, you're going to buy it yourself. So we're going to, right? Yes. There's a lot of things out there. And so Erin's coming on next week to talk about that. As we get into Thanksgiving, a couple things coming up. One is the day after Thanksgiving. So that is November. God, that's only a month away, Mike. That's pretty crazy that Thanksgiving here in the U.S. is just a month away. The 27th, November 27th, Sammy is coming on the show. That's her. We started that tradition, I think last year, maybe 2 years ago. And so she'll be on the show. No Mike. He's out hunting that weekend and spending time with family. Sammy will be on the show on the 27th. And then the 3rd of December is the big anniversary show, the big 10-year anniversary show. I got to get cracking on that thing. And so we've got a ton of stuff coming up. You might just want to join us live for both of those. The 27th, which is a Friday, not a Thursday. That's Black Friday, which, man, Black Friday is going to be different. A lot of stores are going to be closed on Thanksgiving this year. And so Black Friday might go back
online.
Yeah, no, they can't go back to even the old ways where it used to be. Remember Friday morning at 4, and first it was at 6, then it was at 5, then 4, and then midnight.
No way they're going to be able to run it anywhere close to the same.
And it's too cold, at least up here, too cold to try and do that stuff outside. And I don't know. I think the store that gets the most creative will be the winner.
I have a quick safety tip too for everyone out there. You guys are all big. I was going to mention this earlier. I totally forgot. For all you tech guys out there, call before you dig is actually really, really important. I learned that I was burying a ground rod for my ham radio, and luckily I did I just thought it. I'm like, it's just a ground rod. Like I'm not digging, right? I'm just burying a ground rod. But I'm doing it. What made me think about it was I was over where my ham radio antenna exits the house and goes up onto my roof is right by all my utilities. I'm like, you know what? I might as well have them call. I know it goes out towards the front of my house, towards the circle. Well, no, it doesn't. So I was going to go to the right where I was like, okay, I'm going towards the back of my house. All my utilities run to the front of the house. So I'm really glad they came out and they painted. And sure enough, they actually go to the back, the street behind my house, not to the front. So I would have been driving an 8-foot ground rod right through my OPPD, which is my power, right through the main line. And that would have been extremely bad. So literally saved my life. I was like, do I really need to call them? Super glad I did. Those lines do not run where you think you do. So a lot of you guys have been in your house for years and at this point, I had never had to do anything with my utility line. So the first time I've done it, really glad I did.
Wow.
Free service too. Might as well call them, right? It's free.
That would have given supercharging a whole new, a whole new word.
Another death by ham radio.
By the way, Joe says, glad we like it. Don't have to wait for the show to drink it. But we will, Joe. That's what, maybe we could take them up. I'm going to drink those Oktoberfest this week, but I will save one.
Just try the Oktoberfest early because I've been dying to try that one.
Yeah. You can. We got 3.
We'll save one of each for the next 3 weeks. That way we can talk about the different ones.
And save one for the shows. We got some coming up. So Joe, that's what we want to do, though. Yeah, that's what we want. We want to save them. Dave says he's looking forward to it. It's looking forward to joining us on the 3rd of December. Dave, thanks for coming out tonight as well. One reminder: I had to move the meetup. MEAT, the October meetup, is now not September. That would be the wrong month. November. That beer is really starting to kick in at this point. Would be November 7th. That's the first Saturday in November, or a week from this Saturday. So if you're going to join me on that. Hopefully, while you're listening to this, you're listening to it during the week, if you're not live, and we'll get together. I'll be sending out another reminder this weekend and then one midweek for you guys just to do it. My grill is all fixed. Everything's ready to go. We talked about that last week, so we'll be doing it live. Hopefully, we'll get some good weather for it. Mike will miss you. We'll do it again. For sure. So we'll get out there, but I need to get it in. Otherwise, it's going to get too cold. Yeah. No, you guys have fun. I'm really sad I have to miss it. I might hop in from down there. I won't be able to grill from there, but I might hop in if I can. Can you take a little Weber or do you have a little portable grill? I do. I have a tailgate grill. Yeah. He has like a barbecue grill. He has like a regular grill. He doesn't have a smoker. Well, you could still grill something for the afternoon. Something. Try to do something. Yeah. Something. We'll see if I can sneak that in. And don't forget, we're going to have a candle meetup. You have to be, I can't say it on the show because I don't want it to get, CIGAR is what that stands for, right? When we say candle, but YouTube's getting a little weird about that, the T word. And so we're not saying it. We're not saying it on the show anymore, but there will be a candle meetup. It sounds so stupid. Oh my God. I can't believe go to Bed Bath & Beyond before and load up on your favorite candles. That's right. Get your Cubans, your Cuban I want candles. One person to show up with a real candle. 3 p.m. on Saturday if you want to join. 3 p.m. Central on Saturday if you want to join us for the candle lighting. This Saturday? No, next Saturday. It's going to be during the MEAT. Got it. Okay. So 3 p.m. So just join us for that as well. There'll be a link in the show notes. And for the last couple shows, there's been a link in the show notes. I just don't want it to go public because I don't want some yahoo. I just only want listeners joining us for that thing. So go to the show notes, find the link. It's right in the very beginning. Just find the link to the meetup and join us there. Big thanks to Christian at Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and you trust, and that's Christian. And you can get plans that start as little as $10 a month. Maple Grove Partners, all one word. MapleGrovePartners.com. While you're at it, just partner it with a new domain from Hover, theaverageguy.tv/Hover. Get $2 off your first domain. By the way, I make $2 too, so it's just not a freebie. I mean, it is. It's a freebie for you, but you benefit the show, and I'm going to use that to help pay for the hosting that we do here. Head out to theaverageguy.tv/Hover and get your first domain $2 off. We appreciate you doing that. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at theaverageguy.tv live. I have no idea what Uyghur is going to sell me in the post show. So he might, I don't know what he's going to have me buy. It's quite possible I'll buy something else. I bought an iPhone last week. So want to thank you.
Ham radio.
It's I got a shed. Can I get a ham radio that's like a heater? So that would be both a heater and a ham radio.
Well, who was it? Someone had a great suggestion. Just, go put a computer in there and do folding at home, and just have that be your folding at home or mining. And then you got your heat out there built in.
I could move all my computers out there, but then I need to really get dedicated power. So that means I need to trench. And while I'm trenching, it's like, okay, well, do I run internet out there? Then I run power and internet together, right? Well, then I could probably run a gas line and put a little furnace in there.
It's a he shed. Full he shed out there.
It gets carried away. Let's just put it that way.
You need a new project, Jim.
No, I don't. I don't need a new project like I need a hole in the head. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at theaverageguy.tv/live. Stay around for a little bit of post show. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody. So Dave, Dave asked this question. Why is YouTube getting weird about candles? And actually, so they are getting weird about tobacco right now, tobacco and tobacco products. For whatever reason, it has been that if you have a show, well, first, if you kind of disclose that you're doing that, they will not allow you to post the stream live. Like I have. So if you go to theaverageguy.tv/live, which I think is where most of you are at, maybe you just are subscribed. They'll ask for an age verification to be able to watch the show. And I think that also comes down to, like, now I can't, like, chat's disabled. I used to have a little widget on the live page that had the chat room in it. Now it's disabled. Don't know why. YouTube's getting weird about this kind of thing. If you disclose that you're
have you disclosed it? Disclosed the okay.
Well, this is where it's getting weird. So if you disclose your alcohol or tobacco, then there has to be age verification, which means they need to verify you through your Google account. They can't do that on a live page, so it sends you over to YouTube to do that, and you have to do it on YouTube, right? You have to sign in with an account to be able to watch the video. They're running, The Verge had reported a couple weeks ago, they're starting to run bots or AI against the videos. And if they find that you're talking about supporting advertising for said products, they're going to flag you automatically, and that's going to happen. So the guys at the Cigar Authority have already been hit, and so I just don't. It's weird, like it's just weird. It's a weird thing. So Dave, we were just making fun of it. I don't know. I'll probably say it. I'm sure. I don't know.
They do the same thing with any sort of firearm related activity, even hunting, right? Like you have to be careful, even if it's a pure hunting video, like they cannot show, they gotta be really careful when they show, like if they're skinning the animal or processing the animal, or, home defense, if they have guns in the video. So a lot of those guys are actually going and creating their own sites, which is interesting, right? Like War Poet Society, one of the biggest communities around, just self-defense, kind of man stuff. He decided he went out and built his own network. So he has his own website now, his own apps, his own Roku apps, and I love it. And it's a subscription, but he wasn't making any ad revenue on YouTube because they don't let you make ad revenue on anything that relates to guns. Yeah.
They demonetize that too.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So cigars equal candles. That was just kind of the joke. That was in the pre-show. Mike and I were talking about in the pre-show. So I don't know. We'll have to see where it goes. I'm not a big, and I probably should be, but one way or another, man, I think I'm going to get another love honey.
Do you have another honey?
Joe, this is so good.
It's really good.
It is really good. I wish we could find that locally. Like I said, that'd be my go-to. Nothing wrong.
Knocks make me like thirsty for water at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, they're almost salty. They like dry out your mouth a little bit. It's almost like it's like eating popcorn or sucking on sunflower seeds.
Yeah, no, they do. They kind of make you thirsty. But a really good one, Joe. Really good. I'm going to say it's my favorite, but we'll have the other ones. I think.
There's a day drinker too.
Yeah, we haven't had the day drinker yet.
We haven't yet.
We'll do that in 2 weeks. So Oktoberfest next week, day drinker, and then the fourth one was the
Was there a fourth one?
The hardworking. Yeah, it's got the orange and blue. The orange and blue can.
Oh yeah, the Ozark Lager.
Ozark Lager. There we go.
Hard honest work beer.
Yeah, it's a good one too. It's a good one. Step up. It's a good step up. What are you guys doing this weekend?
Halloween stuff with the kids.
Oh yeah.
So we're doing that,
good stuff.
That on Saturday, and I don't know what else. We'll see. I need to get those leaves up. I'm trying to do it tomorrow after work. Maybe, stop in the day a little early at 4 and get out there and pick up the leaves. Just don't have to worry about it Saturday.
Moles are back in my yard. 4 big gigantic mounds.
4
today.
Oh, mounds.
4
okay.
Mounds. No, big. They've been waiting. I think. I don't know why, but they all of a sudden the last 2 days they come back with a vengeance. So I went out there and really I got a file and I got the trap that that plummets down on them, and I just stood out there and sharpened it while I was just staring at the grass.
Just a little warning, right?
Yeah, just it's coming, and I set it. They moles like to run along straight lines. Like they'll go to a concrete and then they'll just run down. I didn't know that. There's a spot out there I've got where they just keep going back and forth. So I was like, this is.
Have you gotten any yet?
Oh no, I just set the trap this afternoon.
Gotcha.
So it's getting dark. So I might go out and check it before I go to bed tonight. Just go out. My neighbor thinks I'm crazy out there with a flashlight doing those kinds of things. And then I have a hole trap. So when they, when moles, when they're clearing out their dens, they pile up the dirt, they push it down to the end, downhill, and then they create a hole where they just push all the dirt out. So that's why you get these big dirt
Got
mounds,
it.
right?
Okay.
And there's no runs to them. These dirt mounds appear out of nowhere, right? That's them pushing the dirt out, right? It's actually really good dirt. So I've been collecting the dirt and putting it in a bucket because I want to use it in other places.
Might as well. Yeah.
No, it's super good dirt. So filling in things, filling in holes where I've got, kinds of things like, thanks, moles. Like if I'm going to kill you, but thank you for that. Ooh, well, I get flagged on YouTube for saying that. Okay. So I'm hunting. I am hunting these moles.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest. So I have one of these.
So what's a good smoking recipe for mole?
It's anything on a stick.
I guarantee there's one out there.
Anything on a stick. So I've got this
Deluxe, right?
long trap that you set, you kind of spin it, and the opens up like this, and then when they tap the center, when they're they can't see crap, right? So they go by the arms, and then they push the center, and the thing closes in on them.
Got it.
And it you don't want to get your finger in there. This thing is pretty. The spring is strong. Let's just put it that way. So that one's sitting in my garage. So when I get the right. Now I'm waiting for the right hole to appear. I've been clearing off the holes, and I'm waiting to see the ones they use the most. Then I'm going to jam that thing in there and see if I can capture one. So I've tried smoke. I tried water. None of that stuff. Even the little poison pellets. I am going to go pick up some worms. They have some poison worms that they really love those.
Oh.
So I'm going to try.
I didn't know they ate worms. That's cool.
Yeah, that to them, that's a hot fudge sundae. Like,
got it.
They just love worms. They eat grubs. That's okay. But worms are like the holy grail for grubs. So I may pick some of those up and drop them in. So the game is back on. I'm going to murder these things.
Now you might get flagged.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Shoot. I was talking about moles.
Yeah.
In the ground. I'm screwed. We're going to get pulled down for sure.
Well, I guarantee your neighbors don't think you're as weird as they think I am with my 40-foot ham radio antenna up on the top of my roof.
Oh, that crazy Mike Uyghur. He's at it again.
What's he doing?
What's he doing? Is he trying to talk to aliens?
Yep.
Yes. Actually, yes. So
that's one thing I want to get into. A part of ham radio, there's Earth, Moon, Earth, where you bounce your signal off the moon. And then it comes back, so you can actually use what is typically a very short distance radio, but a very concentrated beam. It bounces off the moon, comes back, and you'll hear people in very weird spots of the world because of just where that moon is bouncing your signal over to. Kind of cool.
Yeah, Dave. Poison worms. Yep, they look like little gummy worms, except you would not want to eat them. But the moles love them, and then they go to sleep forever.
We were having a debate on that, me and my buddies. We were wondering, okay, so you know those like 1 a day for men gummies?
Yes.
We were wondering if you ate if some kid got a hold of those. Yeah, if you ate the whole bottle, so I asked my friend, I'm like, is this like I'm gonna be puking or like am I gonna die? Like, is it like serious or is it just like you're gonna get really sick?
I think you're just gonna get sick.
That's what I would think. I was like, there's no way they could legally make something that is in candy form that, if taken in that dose of just a bottle, could do a lot of harm. I mean, you might go into liver failure, right? Because is Tony out here tonight? Tony would know.
Yeah. Rainer, you out there?
Yeah, is he still here? He was
Calling
here
Tony
earlier.
Rainer. Yeah, that's a good call. When I was in junior high, I ate nearly a whole bottle of vitamin C.
Did you? You were very immune to everything for a while.
They tasted really good.
Really good.
Yeah, and I couldn't stop eating them. I was just like, these are good. I ate them. And
my boys love their gummy vitamins. Because that was what raised the question for me, is if they got a hold of that bottle, they would for sure down the whole bottle easily. Yeah. And I'm like, that's why. But I'm like, okay, that's a kid one. But on the adult, 1 a day for men's that I take,
Tony, quit listening.
Sometimes I do take 3 or 4.
There he is.
Because they taste really good.
Possibly. Kidney and liver should excrete a lot, but you can't exceed their abilities to filter.
Okay. So I'd probably end up in the hospital, maybe.
You? No, your liver would be fine, Mike.
I've been training this liver for the last 10 years.
It's fully fortified. It has built its own manufacturing and filtering devices around. You have a liver, and then you've got things around your liver that support the liver. There's a whole country there.
I've got an extra organ. I've got 2 livers.
Yeah, your liver grew a liver to support. It's like, hey, we're gonna need another one of these. I'm gonna take out a home equity loan, and we're gonna put another liver in.
They're like, shoot, vitamins, bring those on. A lot better than all the other stuff.
I know. It wouldn't know what to do. Your body'd shut down and be like,
it's a lot better than Coors Light.
We haven't seen anything good for us in a while. We don't have any of those tools anymore. Yeah. We jettison those to build the extra liver.
We don't know how to filter good things. So actually, this kid is going to die.
You're going to die. Actually, you're going to die.
Yeah.
If you eat too much. Thanks for that, Tony. Thanks for that laugh. Oh, that's a good beer. That's a super good beer.
It's really good.
Guys, thanks for coming out tonight. Next week, Aaron Lawrence is joining us. Well, I picked up my phone and it said Face ID. What?
We should have mentioned that. That is the only thing but I think most people are on the Face ID phones now. Yeah. I do still miss being able to unlock my phone with just a thumbprint while it's laying on the desk.
Yeah.
I do miss that.
It is. Guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for coming out. Have a good night.